Hello and welcome to episode 70 of The Joy of Coding. My name's Mike Conley. We're going to be reviewing and writing and reading and doing all sorts of patch stuff today with Firefox Desktop. It's episode 70. It's going to be a good one. I'm pretty excited. Let's get into it. Let me share my screen. Let me show you the agenda. Same as usual. So if you're new to this, if you've never seen an episode of The Joy of Coding before, there is no plan, really. I mean, there's no like set script on what I'm going to do, but I have kind of an agenda or like a list of things I'd like to try and get done. And this is that list. And like the first thing I want to emphasize is no plan survives breakfast. Just because I have this list doesn't mean I'm going to get through it. I might get sidetracked or some emergency will pop up, and that's okay. If that happens, that happens, and we will just deal with it. So this is just sort of the map, and we'll see how well we do getting through it. So if you want to get a copy of this agenda, because I mean this agenda is probably useless to you, like these links, unless you can click on things. If you scroll down to the bottom of this video, if you're watching this on Air Mozilla, if you scroll down, there should be an additional links section, and in that additional links section, there should be a link to this agenda. And as I update it and it synchronizes, then you might need to do a page refresh, but you'll get the up-to-date document. And so you can click on these notes and click on these links, and that might help you sort of navigate and follow me along. There's a bunch of like other stuff in here that you might find useful, links to other live hackers or a glossary for certain things I've said that you might find you want to refer to. Go ahead and click around. So this is today's agenda. Just a heads up that I was doing Better Know a Gecko service workers, where I was just kind of touring around the service worker code. I'm going to continue that next week. I'd done it a couple of weeks ago. I did it the week before last, and I'll probably conclude either next week, or maybe I'll do an episode of it next week, and then I'll conclude a couple of weeks after. But I'm not doing it today. I got other stuff to do, and let's get through it. So there's one thing I want to do up here before I do any of the reviewing. And this kind of cropped up on my plate today. Bugzilla is a little slow today, unfortunately. I don't know why that is, but it's a little slow to respond. But this is what I want to look at to begin with. So I'll put a link there, and that will synchronize. I have my notes. I haven't put anything in my notes yet. This is pretty new. I'll put a link there, and I'll have that synchronize. Okay, so I want to deal with this first. So what's going on is we have this interstitial tab spinner thing that you may have seen before if you run with E10S. Let me show you what it is. You've probably seen it before. It's suppose like your website does something silly, like let's just run a while loop for a couple of seconds, like let me pump up the font a little so you can see what I'm doing, and let me drag up the window. So let then equals date.now, and then while date.now minus then is less than 10,000, well then we're going to run a busy loop. So now we're running a busy JavaScript loop, and tab switching is we're getting this spinner thing. And then whenever the busy loop is done, then we're able to paint. So if I do that again, just take a close look here, you can see I'm trying to switch tabs. Oh, I can't redeclare then, so I'm going to just do that. So I've got this interstitial tab spinner thing. I get this web page is slowing me down, but like it's not clear what's going on, but the spinner comes, the spinner goes. So that's the interstitial spinner. And we have this telemetry probe called fxtab spinner visible ms, which measures how long a user will see that spinner, because we want to make sure that they don't see it very often. And the problem is that according to our dashboards, we just realized this. If we look at beta 49, we've got a bunch of users seeing it, seeing greater than 1 second. We're seeing like a bunch of samples of people seeing the spinner for more than 1 second. And the problem with this probe is that it's designed so that it's got a maximum of 1 second, and everything above 1 second goes into this like greater than 1 second bucket. So it's not very granular, and we're not sure like what's going on in here. We can show the table. Yeah, there's like this bucket of 1 to infinity where 25% of the probe readings are in there, which is not great. So we want to better understand what's going on here. I got something in my teeth. I'm sorry. Hang on. Got it. Ah, gross. So we want to add a new probe that's a little more able to handle the degenerate case. So what I've done is I've written a probe called FX tab switch spinner visible long MS. And what I've done is set the high value to 64,000 with 7 buckets, and it's an exponential. Curve. So, I believe it'll be something like what's the ideal scenario here? We should have buckets that are like 1,000, 2,000, 4,000, 8,000, 16,000, 32,000, then 64,000, something like that. And I'm trying to make sure that that probe that I've added is working. So I've added the probe here. I've made it so that we add the counts for the probe in the same place that we were adding the count for the first original probe. And now I'm just testing to see whether or not it works. So what do I do now? I look inside. So I've got my about telemetry here. I'm going to look inside simple measurements, or not simple measurements, sorry. I'm going to look inside the histograms. That's where it is. Spinner. So I've got FX tab switch spinner visible MS, but I don't see the other one. I don't see the long one. And I wonder if maybe that's because I need to somehow, like, maybe I didn't build properly. How did I build? I built using build faster. Maybe I need to build using full build. And if so, and if this works, then we've got our probe. I'm going to put it up for review, and then we can move on. Oh, it doesn't like it. Must have an alert emails field. Okay. So I guess that's new. Some of these don't have an alert emails field, but I guess new probes have to have them. Alert emails. So I guess I'll make myself the alert emails guy. There we go. And so that's building. And in the meantime, what else is on the agenda? What did I want to do today? So we've got this probe incoming. I wanted to review, I'd started a review yesterday for some work that was being done to implement the time form field. So date time form field. And some work is landed or is underway to add that support. And I'd started a review yesterday. I'd put in a bunch of feedback in here, and I wanted to keep going. So I wanted to keep reviewing this. So I guess let's click on review and we'll keep going while we wait for this to build. So I'd already kind of reviewed a chunk of this. I'd reviewed this part. I've got this like Firefox web extension that allows me to collapse. It's put the collapse button behind the reviewed button. It's not great, that web extension. So, but I'm going to use it anyways. Collapse. This was already reviewed. I don't need to review that again. Collapse. I reviewed this file. I can see my comments on it. So reviewed, collapse. And I think I left Spinner mostly alone. I think this is the one that I wanted to look at more closely today, and Timekeeper. Spinner and Timekeeper. Time Picker I had looked at. I think they're all kind of related. And then, yeah, timepicker.js. I think I want to look at these chunks again. So the parts that I haven't collapsed is what I want to look at now. How's our build doing? Build's still going. Okay, so what is spinner.js? Spinner.js is brought into the time. So we have this panel that comes up to show the time picker. If you haven't seen it, let me show you what the time picker is supposed to look like. If Bugzilla will load, holy smokes. Come on, Bugzilla. Okay. Where's the UI? Meta, here's the meta bug, and then there should be a like mock-up. Implement UI, provide specs. Implement UI, date time. Bugzilla will take its time, but meanwhile, maybe this screenshot will be good enough. Kind of. So we've got this like panel that comes up, and you can choose like the time. I believe it'll also be possible to choose a date. Here's the mock-up. Date input. I just downloaded a mock-up. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, so here's what it looks like, I guess. So that's the date picker, and then the time picker. That's the date picker, month picker, time input field. They didn't actually put in anything for the time, but it kind of gives you a sense of what we're trying to do here. We're opening a panel, and what's being done is we're attempting to like oh, and they have a Envision board here, an Envision share. So we can like test a thing. How does this work? Okay, lots of okay, here we go. So like you can click on it, here comes the calendar, or a month, year, or the time. Date, month, time. So we're dealing mostly with time right now. That's where we are at. And the way we do it is in this panel, this is an iframe, and then we load this content is like a little web page in the iframe. And that little web page is what's loading spinner.js. So this is the web page, timepicker.xhtml, and it loads these three things: timekeeper, spinner, and timepicker. And I guess now that's what I'm looking at now. So what's the relationship? The first question is, what is the relationship between spinner, timekeeper, and timepicker.js? What's the relationship? I have a feeling the spinner is a reusable component, just based on its name and the fact that we might need a spinner for other cases, like for this, for the month and the the year, where we've got um, lots of values that we want the user to be able to spin through, kind of like a Rolodex. But this is like not a time picker. This is a month year picker. So I think we want something like that, and that's why they might have factored it out into its own little component. And we're almost done building, by the way. That's good. So we have this spinner thing. The spinner is responsible for displaying the items and does not care what the values represent. Okay, so it's an abstraction just for displaying items, does not care about the values themselves. The set value function is called when it detects a change in value triggered by a scroll event. Supports scrolling, clicking on previous next, clicking an item, or dragging. Now that we've read that, I can see that our build has finished, so I'm going to shelve the review temporarily while we test this out. Let's check it out. Let's see if we've got our spinning probe. And if so, we'll put that up for review. So what did I do? I had had a couple of revived tabs here, some tabs that were loaded. And then in one of these, I did this busy loop. This is going to go for a couple of seconds. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we're going to reload telemetry and see if we got our histogram to show it. Okay, we've got ourselves a bucket here. We were in the 6979 bucket. So a spinner was shown, excuse me, a spinner was shown for just over 8 seconds. So that put us in this bucket. I'm going to copy that, and we can take a look at the bucketing here. So it's displaying, I don't know why it's broken it down this way, but that's why, like, I guess that's just cuz, but there's a bucket from 6979 to at least 8688, and that's where it's put our value. I think this is working as intended. I think it, like our telemetry will ingest that probe data as expected. So I'm going to now post this for review. Commit bug. This is bug 1301104. Whoopsie daisy. I just want to copy the number, mang. All right, bug that. Add tab spinner interstitial probe for with a higher ceiling to measure degenerate cases, to better measure degenerate cases. R Bill M. I'm gonna need a data review. B Smedberg. I don't think I can actually do that for Moz review. I'm not sure if Bill M is in, but this should be a pretty straightforward review. And I'm going to have B Smedberg do the review. Now I need to, there might be, if Benjamin Smedberg is busy, which he might be, I'm going to find another data review peer. I believe in my email, which I'm going to check off screen, I have a list of data review peers. Let me pull that out. Just do a little two-factor auth here for extra security. go. So now I'm looking for data review, data review, data review, peer. Data stewardship peers. Shinsha, Rebecca Weiss. Okay, so I think I have a peer that I can ask for review. Let's take a look at the diff. Okay, gonna publish it. I'm also going to ask for data review. Once Bugzilla wakes up. Okay. Not a UI review. I'm gonna actually, instead of doing a feedback, I'm gonna do a need info. Hey, Lush, as a data stewardship peer, are you cool signing off on this new probe? I'll likely be taking it up to at least beta. So, Lush, here's a data review. Yeah, data reviewer. Data stewardship peer. So that's done. That spinner, that's up blocked on review. Done. Yeah, we're a little bit worried about that, or I'm a little bit worried about it, because yeah, we have at least one user who is complaining they don't have any kind of weird configuration that we can see, but they're experiencing pretty slow tab switching with E10S enabled, and we don't fully understand it. Video recording will be available approximately 2 or 3 hours after air. Alright. Let's see. Ben Kelly has a good question here. This is actually very interesting. He's asking whether or not it could be garbage collection that's causing this. Thing. Hi, if we, okay. Hey, was wondering if you noticed B. Kelly's comment 7 in bug 130411. Is there a way we can determine whether or not the folks who are It's an interesting hypothesis. Had we noticed any kind of bit pattern? It's an interesting hypothesis. I was wondering if it'd be easy to test. I think we collect processor bit size in telemetry. I think we know if the user is on a 64-bit machine. Until we get more data, I think wild guesses are all we can do. I've instructed the original reporter. Sixty-four is 32-bit. Sixty-four is Windows on Windows 64, 32-bit build. Yeah, not a lot of 64-bit builds out there. Do we have another probe about memory? Trying to dev branches using separate. That's a good question. I know that I'm running on my Windows machine. Memory. We would really need the fragment or memory usage correlated to the spinner type. Do we have probes that would allow us to do that correlation? I see a number of memory related probes. But yes, we don't have a sense of memory state at spinner time. Memory state at spinner time. We can look for a canary instead. What kind of canary? User RAM is correlated to memory pressure. Could we have a probe like showing spinner while child process is doing a long GC? Hard for the parent to determine I don't think it's tricky. You'd need to have the child message the parent to say that it's GCing, because if we don't already have that, which I don't think we do. I think we do. A shared memory flag or something. Hmm. Garbage. Is there anything about garbage collection in our IPDL? Garbage collect. We can tell it to garbage collect. Any processing getting captured from? Waiting on the user. I gave the user very detailed instructions. Hopefully we get one back soon. Yeah, I asked. I think they are in European time, so it might be end of day for them. I sent the instructions this morning, so it would have probably been in their afternoon. Plus, they were responsive. But yeah, we might be out of luck until tomorrow. Unless we can find who's experiencing same thing. Do you mean a link to, no. Nope. Walked him through it step by step. Like, in my own words. That documentation is far too detailed. The user ghosted once we found a workaround. I wonder if we... Hmm. Say if we detect a large number of those long spinner pauses. That's a thing we could do. Would need to run that by Lassie naturally. But I suspect our rollout add-on could modified to deal with that. With little difficulty. Little. Not too much difficulty. I'm all for that. If the detection can be done well. For like disabled for add-on thing. So now, okay, so I've sort of been like talking in IRC. Hopefully you can read all this stuff. I'm gonna pump up the font a little bit. I just realized maybe you can't read it, But I'm having this big conversation in IRC, and I'm kind of coordinating with some other people. What bug is this? Oh yeah, this. So, Bugzilla. Okay, I'm going to file a new bug for this. Felipe, just a heads up. Likely need help from Felipe on this. Hey, context. Considering doing a thing where if we notice that a user has been seeing the tab spinner interstitial, big tab spinner, we'll disable E10S for them until we can figure out what's going on. Might want to disable it for them for a while, and then some fixes, and turn them back on and disable again if users keep seeing the spinner. The rules on how long and how frequently the user needs to see the spinner before we disable are still undetermined. But supposing we do this, how hard would it be to set up the E10S rollout add-on for this kind of instrumentation? I figure it's a little bit like the accessibility instrumentation. Oh. So I'm going to file a new bug. Goes better in NS App Runner than the rollout add-on. Disable. I see. E10S if the user sees many along sees the spinner, the big tab spinner, too much. What too much is not yet determined. What we know is that some users are seeing the big tab spinner when switching tabs for long periods of time. See bug bug, for example. The current plan, the current idea is to notice when we've crossed some threshold of too many long spinners, and then flip a pref that disables E10S on the next run, much like we do when the user, when an accessibility API is used. It disqualifies the user for some period of time, like 1 week, before re-enabling. So we can use the accessibility disabling feature functionality mechanism as inspiration, but we still need to determine what too much is. I believe JS Engine tracks GC pause length. We could send an IPC to parent if we see a pause over threshold X. On parent, if we had a spinner within the last time frame Y, then trigger telemetry spinner with slow GC probe. See a pause over threshold X. Potentially. Potentially, yes. Um, gonna CC Felipe. Okay. So how would this work if, like, we see the spinner is displayed here and the spinner is hidden here, and if we ever go into spinner hidden, how we do it? Long spinner. You could start a timer when the spinner is displayed. Too much is 5 spinners of at least 10 seconds in length. I just pulled those numbers out. I really have no idea what we consider bad enough to turn E10S off. I don't really know. what we consider 5 spinners of at least 10 seconds in length, 1 spinner of at least 30 seconds in length, in the same session. Some accumulation of total spinner time. I don't really know what we... Okay. So that's done-ish. Need info Blassie. Waiting on this data, so I'm waiting for contact blocked on info. I've got the probe blocked on review. So what are we doing now? Now we're going back to that review. We got into that big conversation, and now we're back to we're in here. We're gonna review that time picker thing. So, holy smokes, that was like a big diversion, but we did it. So let's go back over to the patch. I'm gonna take a drink and try and clear my head for a second. It's like a lot of stuff just happened. Okay. Okie dokie. Okay. Okay. Ready to keep going. So I think I already mentioned that the spinner is like this abstract, reusable class for whenever we have a thing and we want the user to be able to spin it, but we don't care about the kind. Proper documentation for each function. Constant set value, item, these magic numbers of item height, viewport size. We get the spinner template. We import the node. I'm trying to remember how this works. Document.import node. External node. HTML template tag template clone you import node and true. What does true mean for import node? Deep, whether you do the descendants of the imported node need to be cloned, and that's true. So we get the spinner, and we create state for it, whether or not it's scrolling. We set some properties on it from the initialization. Viewport size. Can you quickly add some documentation? Can you add some documentation about this calculation? Y minus 1, for example. Elements, then we get the spinner, the prev, the next, the items view elements, none. Then we attach it to the context, and then we attach event listeners, typo, listeners. Only the parent component calls set state on the spinner. It checks if the items are changed and updates the DOM. If only the value is changed, smooth scrolls to the new value. Only the parent component calls set state on the spinner. Checks if the items has changed. Typo. Has items has changed to items have changed. Spinner, this elements, so we have like the spinner itself. It's a bit odd, a bit strange to have the whole thing called the spinner and for there to be a sub-element called spinner. Is there a better name for either of these? Yeah. Spinner, and then we get the value and the items from the state. We need to document the format of new state. Value items. If this is array diff. Now I looked at this yesterday. Is array diff is basically it's comparing two arrays. Is array diff is this way of comparing two different arrays. First it checks. We tend to put even one-liners like this on several lines. Also, you have a convention established in this file that one-liners get braced. So let's do it like if a.length is not equal to b.length, return true. What it does is it will loop through the array I plus equal 1. I think plus plus I or I plus plus is more common as the incrementer. Felipe says, because one thing to keep in mind is this: once we disqualify these people getting the spinner, we'll stop seeing this data coming because they have had ETNS disabled and won't be exposed to the problem anymore. So it's important not to accidentally interpret new telemetry data as the problem is fixed because no one is seeing the spinner anymore. That's what Felipe says. I suppose we could, however, test potential fixes on this disqualified population. So note my description of the probes earlier. FX tab switch total ETNS MS measures how long to go it takes to go from the last tab switch to showing content. Whereas measures how long a spinner is ever visible, even across multiple tab switches. So suppose I have a hung content process. If I switch the spinner appears for 10 seconds, and that's what we get for the probe. However, if in that last second, say 200 milliseconds before the content process is freed up, initiate a tab switch, and then paint 200 milliseconds later, I believe that's considered a 200 millisecond tab switch for if I'm understanding the probes correctly. If all the problems are spinners are multiple, okay, however, I don't think that's the case. It's possible that there are some, I guess that there are edge cases that is not capturing. Maybe we should rope Bill M into this conversation. Thought I saw him online before. Back to tabs, back to spinners. Different spinners. It's funny. We've got tab spinners and we have these like time spinner things. Unrelated, but still they have the same name. So they're just checking to see whether or not some array A and B, we're doing like 2 nested for loops. There's got to be a better way. Like what is this? Is array diff. Array diff. Items. This is only used if we get some items that are different. Items. New items. Nested for loops, eh? Is there an upper bound on A and B? Length and property length? Property count? Another one-liner that should be broken out over 2 lines and braced. Are we shooting ourselves in the foot? I'd really like to. Sorry, I'm just going back to this one thing that Blasty said. I want to make sure I'm answering it correctly. I'd really like to understand why we're showing greater than 1 second tab spinners so often when total tab switch time is almost never over 1 second. I'm going to put a pause on this for a second. Let's look at the histogram dashboard. I want to do a quick thing. Just going to context switch for a second. We're going to look at the histogram for spinner visible, and tab switch total E10S. Totally, there are 580.72 million samples. And then show the histogram. So we'll show the spinner after I switch context again. I'm sorry, this thing's bugging me and I need to sort of get a handle on it. So after 400 milliseconds, so 1.25, and then so we've got some percentage of here. Let's see, let's say 1% of this accounts for 400 milliseconds and up. 1%, then 1.4%, 1 plus 1.4 plus 1% plus 1.97%, total of 5.37%. Now 5.37% of 580.72 million is, wait, I think I did that wrong. 5.137 of, 580.72 divided by 100 should be 31 million, and that puts us, actually, that's not bad. That's not bad. Hang on. Blassie. I've got some napkin math for you that might explain this a little. At least the discrepancy between both probes. Maybe Chutton can follow along and blow holes through it, since my napkin math skills aren't amazing. Looking at the FX tab switch total E10S MS probe for beta 49, I see a total of 580.72 million samples. We show the spinner after 400 milliseconds. Timeout. Looking at the histogram, we've got buckets for 400 plus milliseconds plus. There's a little overlap at 380, 340 to 487, which accounts for 1.73%. Let's round that down to 1% to be conservative. So let's round that down to just round that down to try to shave off the difference between 340 and 400 milliseconds. The remaining buckets definitely show spinners. 1.39%, 1%, and 1.97% of the samples are in those buckets. Summing, we get a total percentage of approximately 1.39 plus 1 plus 1.97 plus 1 plus 1.97 plus 1, 5.36%. That I estimate are showing the spinner. 5.36% of the total sample count is times 580.72 divided by 100, 31.126. Now, looking at FX tab switch, spinner visible MS, total sample count is 32.78 million. So I'm off by so the estimate is off by about 1.6 million. But yeah, my hypothesis is that for the most part we are capturing the degenerate long counts in the histogram, but they're rare. Where only 5.36% of the samples display them, more or less, that group. Does that sound plausible? Okay, napkin math. I don't know if that math made sense. I'm not so good at doing math in my head. The data is consistent with that hypothesis. Sweet. Verified. We'll show a spinner as recorded by about 1 in 20 tab switches as recorded by tab total switch ETS MS will show a spinner. And then cumulative. And similarly, if evenly distributed, which they aren't, then apparently of those 1 in 20 tab switches that show the spinner, 74% of them will be 1 second in length or less. All right. Back to our review. Away from that conversation. Oh, so this is a nice confirmation that the spinner and total probes are coming up with numbers that are consistent with each other's observations. What does this tell us? It tells us that I think it tells us. I think it makes me think that there's a small but significant portion of our beta population that are seeing shitty tab switch performance. Pardon my language. An egregious spinner. Ah, you suspect that there are clients with frequent egregious spinners. I guess that's possible. But that's informed mostly from my own experience, which is tainted by decent hardware. Too frequent and they'll self-select out of the measurable population. So we might undercount the effect. Too frequent and they'll self-select out of the measurable population. That's disturbing. So yeah, I'm just sitting. I'm sorry, I kind of spaced out there. I was just thinking about the tab spinner. I don't know how long I was sitting there and not talking. I apologize. I keep forgetting I got a show here. All right, enough of this conversation. Let's continue to review our patch. Oh man, how long did I space out? Mamma mia! I'll have to watch the video after. I hope it wasn't much. Okay, so this is array diff smells a little bad. It's a nested 4 in a 4. I think I need to know more about these states that are being set, because it's only used in one place, this set state. And in the new items, we look at the items and we look at the new items. We do a comparison, and if they are different, then we copy the new state over to this state. And then we update the items. What is update items? We get the viewport size, the viewport top offset, prepends null elements so the selected value is centered in the scroller. So we create a new array with the top offset, we fill with the empty object, so the selected value is centered in the scroll bar in the scroller, and then we add the items. And the items is what we did the is array diff on them, so it's these objects. If item's length is greater than the viewport size, and we're not infinite scrolling, calculate how many sets of items to create to fill 5 viewports up and down. If items is greater than 5 viewports, create 2 sets only. If not, create as many sets as needed. More magic. Fly on the wall. You spaced out for less than... Okay. Thanks. Thanks, Tracy. Oh, so what do we do, says Chutton. Okay. Context switch back. What do we do? We need one of these machines. We need to get our hands on a machine in this state. We need a profile. We need to know what the machine is doing when it should be painting. Maybe B. Kelly is right and it's GCing. Maybe it's doing something else, like perhaps, or need a spinners per time unit measure to measure frequency. Spinners per time unit measure to measure frequency. When it should be painting to measure frequency. I think we're trying to add a more what is it? We're adding a new probe in bug blah 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 to get a better sense of the degenerate case. If that's what you mean. If not, what do you mean? And it's GCing spinners per time unit. What else can we do? I mean to distinguish between everyone gets a few big spinners periodically versus some people just get a lot of big spinners. Ah, I see. Interesting. Like a like some kind of internal metric on how often this profile sees spinners. We could measure percent of time spent in spinners while the browser is focused active. Would hopefully be minuscule percentages, but could see if some people are higher than others. Per time unit is okay with time unit being on the order of a day. How we could do it on a daily basis. In that case, would the probe in bug 130114 with subsessions give us the kind of data B. Kelly is suggesting we gather? Would need active focus time per day and time spent in spinner per day. Focus time. What are subsessions in this context? Because, yeah, active time is a bit of a shruggy. Yeah, I agree. I agree with Chutton because, like, what do we just, like, increment something every time the user is... We have hours spent in browser. Number of tabs, which is the number of greater than 1 second spinners, and the length of time we measured them over. Oh man. Tracy, out of curiosity, have you heard of anybody else in QA or within your network of QA, or anyone else within your network of QA folk talking about or dealing with egregious tab spinners? Chun, so 20% of the spinners are greater than 1% and 5% of switches show a spinner if distributed evenly. That assumes an even distribution. Assumes an even distribution. Which it might not be. It's not assuming that. Al Billings complaint, that was regarding shutdown, no? Show spinner, so that means that 1% of switches show a spinner for more than 1 second. Is that 1% of our users? Or do all our users see this 1% of the time? Or more likely, somewhere in between? Would be helpful to know, or just interesting to know. Still, you're right. Those regarding shutdown, helpful to know. Because if it's 1% of our population, say we emphasize 1%, if it's 1% for everyone, then that seems like a bigger problem. Correct. Correct. 10% of the spinners are greater than 1%, and 5% of switches show a spinner. 1% of switches show a spinner for more than 1 second. What triggers the spinner in the code? Are we waiting for a particular IPC message? We wait for the layers to be ready. If we hit a 400 millisecond timeout, we show the spinner. We want a distribution of percentage of all tab switches that have greater than 1 second spinner by user count. If there are 5, and layers sends an IPC message from the child to the parent. Layers sends an IPC message from the child to the parent. Layers sends an IPC message from the child to the parent. It's trying to remember. It's either from the child to the parent or from the child to the compositor thread, and the compositor tells the main thread. It's either from the child. Mail looks layer tree ready. Layers ready. Request notify layer tree ready. Say request notify rare. We need request notify layer tree ready. Compositor bridge parent. Layer tree ready. Layer tree observer. Process compositor bridge parent shadow layers updated. My understanding reading that the child sends the layers to the compositor, and then the compositor alerts the main thread, compositor thread, which queues an event. That event is the Moz layer tree ready event, which the front end then reacts to in order to hide the spinner, or show the new layers if no spinner is being displayed. S layers, new layers, requested tab. Kind of a Rube Goldberg machine in here. So the issue could be in the child process, and the compositor being stuck in a graphics driver or in the parent main thread. Correct. Multiple places where things might be going south. which is why a performance profile is why I'm kinda dying for a performance profile. Profile over here. So this is a shout out. If you're out there and you're using, if you know people who are using Firefox beta or release and they have E10S enabled and they're seeing a big spinner all the time, get in touch with me. I'm talking about like a big long tab spinner and it's like for multiple seconds and it's happening all the time when you've got like YouTube going on in the background or something and it's like multiple seconds and it's like every single tab switch is taking forever. Let me know. I want to know about it. This bucket has a description of the places we block in the compositor for long periods of time. I wonder if we could correlate with compositor max block time. That's an interesting idea. So what did Chutton and Blassie say? Blassie was that I can do that, and if possible percentages at C 10 1 seconds per minute. Oh wait, I can't do that. If we get that distribution over scene 1, 10, or I could, but it'd be meaningless. Need spinners per time or per tab switch. I'd settle for the number who see 1 as a first cut if we have that data ready. Out of all time, okie dokie. Compositor max block time. Do we have that? Correct me if I'm wrong, but we don't currently gather a probe for compositor block time, do we? Got it to load, but for example, in some cases I've seen drivers block compositor that indefinitely if the screen is locked. That can reproduce this. Another case of awful drivers, no clue. Drivers block them if the screen is locked. I have a Linux laptop that can reproduce this. Arguably another case of awful driver. I did no dice. I was wondering if it was hidden somewhere. Does our Chrome hangs, does BHR monitor the compositor thread? Probably not. Probably not, right? Oh, what are we gonna do about this thing? So many tab spinners. Okay, so I'm gonna cap this episode here. We did not get through this review. Actually, you know what? Let me just power through this review. I'm gonna spend another 20 minutes. We're gonna get through this file at least. I have to review this patch. No more emergencies. I'm gonna look at this patch and I'm gonna review and unblock this fella. Scott, more magic numbers in here to extract. Not is infinite scroll. Not equal to false. What are the possible values for is infinite scroll? If it's just true or is infinite scroll is from state. Can we just use coercion and do JavaScript if items.length is greater than or equal viewport size and is infinite scroll. For the count push items view, we put more, calculate how many items to create, fill 5 viewports up and down. Apply, push, items view, items. Is this not just items view.push? Items? Can we do that? Push, apply, items. Base sets as needed. Let x equal that. X dot push. 1, 2, 3. Just. Or is there something clever going on here? Equivalent to, or is there something else clever going on over here? And then what does Chutton say? Chutton says there's composite time, composite frame round trip time, then there's the refresh jar of probes too, which will have something to do with something. Alright, when I'm done this review I'm in the middle of, I'll pull over someone from graphics and see if they know what kind of probes have and what they do. Would we even be able to display the spinner? Thanks. Not animating. But if the compositor was blocked while the spinner was up, presumably, yes, we'd show a locked. Maybe the probe doesn't distinguish spinner versus spinner, but not animating. The probe definitely doesn't make that distinction. I suppose. Okay. 5 viewports. If items is greater than 5 viewports, create 2 sets only, not create as many sets as needed. What is items? We already put items. Also, I'm just not understanding what's happening here. We created an array on line 100 that might have some items at the top, followed by our items, and now for count times, we're putting more copies of items into items view. Why? Prepare nodes. Length and then parent. diff is greater than 0, then we're creating documents and nodes. We create fragment while count. Why a while loop for this? Wouldn't a for loop do? And you're using using single quotes here but double elsewhere. Items view element. This element, items view elements, push L. Parent, append child, frag, else diff. I'll count. Would it make sense to hold, if this is likely to change in length many times over the lifetime of the panel, would it not make more sense to have a list of nodes we could recycle? Should we have a list of nodes? Should we have a list of nodes that we can recycle instead of creating new ones each time? Or do you think that's not a problem? Or am I prematurely optimizing? Okay, so that's prepare nodes. Set display string. Once DOM nodes array, set display strings using text content. Display string items for each item and index, element index. Item value is not undefined. Get display string. What is get display string? Oh, get display string is something that you can make be a property. Elements class name equals item.valid or invalid. Is it valid? What does it mean to be valid or invalid? Should it be enabled and disabled instead? It's this method is doing more setting the string. It's setting a class. We should mention that. Prepare nodes, and then we say that our items view is items view. Okay, and then we're done updating the items. Then scroll to, we get the scroll index. Find the index as close to the current index. If centering is true, find the index closest to the center. So we get the items, the viewport top offset. Or centering is true, start from the middle point. Centering, we get the length minus the viewport top offset, divide by 2, and we round. Centering or the index doesn't exist. And this dot state index. Okay, items view dot length. Closest index is the length. Find is indexes of items match the focus for each item. If item dot value equals focus, item dot value. Scroll index. Oh, this gets scroll index. I think focus. Scroll to. Scroll to. Scroll to. Scroll to. Scroll to. Scroll to. New value. Some value. I don't think focus is the right name for this argument. Perhaps value to focus or just value. Get scroll index focus. So for each, if the value is focus, we put that index in here, find the index closest to current index for index. Math absolute distance. If d is less than diff, find the absolute smallest distance. Return viewport top offset. Oh, alright. Fair enough. So now where am I? I was up here. Scroll to smooth scroll to. That's another one. Smooth scroll to. Smooth scroll to is, where are you? Smooth scroll to. Smooth scroll to index. We get the scroll index of the thing to focus. There's another place where I think focus is the wrong name. And then children, if element state is scroll, set the scrolling flag before scrolling and reach the destination. Element scroll into view, behavior smooth block, start. Alright. Fair enough. So that's smooth scroll to. Okay. On scroll. So when the user is scrolling something, presumably. Well, we have this attach event listeners, so typo should be attach event listeners. We get the elements, then we add the listener scroll, a passive listener, passive event listeners. Better learn what that means. What are passive event listeners? Problem. By eliminating the need to scrolling to touch, all my browsers have a threading scroll feature to prevent scrolling to run smoothly when expensive JavaScript running with soft information is partly defeated by the need to wait for the results of any touch start and touch move. Promise the handler won't call prevent default to disable scrolling. Okay, good. So that's good. Mouse down, mouse up, mouse down, mouse down. So we're going to handle one of those events. So when we scroll, then we go to on scroll. It's generally a good idea to wrap each case in a scope in case you end up using some common variable names and use let. Now make sure each of these cases has breaks, break, 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 yep. And then on scroll, what does on scroll do? Spinner index. If value in this state is scrolling, we set to false. It's not smooth scrolling, this state is scrolling. this and this, not this and not this. Okay. It's near the top, problem drawn back in the middle, so you can keep scrolling up or down. Alright. Another place where we could use JavaScript. If items.length is greater equal viewport size and is infinite scroll. It's a question. Okay, done that. So on mouse down, use prevent default to keep focus on input boxes. This mouse state equals down true layer. If event target equals previous, smooth index -1 is next, index +1. If the event target parent node is the spinner, listen to dragging events. Spinner add if we mouse down, mouse up. We might mouse up outside our we might mouse up outside of the spinner, in which case aren't these still attached? For dragging, listen to dragging events. Mouse leave. Oh, we have a mouse leave. Mouse up or mouse leave. We should probably remove the mouse leave one too, right? Passive is true, stop listening. Mouse move, change spinner position on drag. Set capture. Okay. Okay, so I've reviewed spinner.js. I've got some issues with it, but I think I understand it. Hopefully I'll understand it more once I start to see some documentation. Uh, uh, uh. Okay. Timekeeper. Timekeeper keeps track of the time states. Given min, max, step, and format, Timekeeper will determine the ranges of possible selections. So we have this Timekeeper thing. It's function, props, state. We have a new date. Time. What's a new date? 0. Oh, the 0th time in 1970. Timekeeper get second value, get minute value, get hour value, and PM value. That's interesting. I guess it's like 12 hours. Is that what that is? So if there are 1,000 milliseconds in a second times 60 seconds, that's a minute. 60,000 milliseconds times 60, that's an hour, times 12, yeah, it's 12 hours. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Get hour. Aren't these constants somewhere else? Date, time, constants, JavaScript. Aren't there like date dot UTC dot, I guess not. JavaScript, date constants. Date. Oh, that's data. Sorry. Dates. Dates. Date utility. Date prototype length. Now parse UTC. Prototype conversion. Huh. Alright, never mind. It's a shame. We don't have those constants somewhere. State time, get these things. Get UTC hours, minus 12. Should we be returning, should this be true or false? State hour, set the hour. So it just wraps a date. If AM equals this AM PM, please split out and brace. If AM PM equals 0, again, should this be using true, false instead of 1, 0? I know they're equivalent after coercion, but might as well be explicit for clarity. Set hours, state seconds, set ranges. Turn nothing, get AM, PM. Set hours. This all needs documentation, particularly. I find it confusing that get AM, PM is distinct from get AM, PM above. Split over, split and brace. Milliseconds, steps. I think I'm gonna do a better job of reviewing timekeeper tomorrow. For some reason, I apologize for reviewing this in bursts. There's a lot here, and it's quite complicated. I'll have more feedback tomorrow. Okay, I gotta go. I got a meeting. I thank you for watching The Joy of Coding, episode 70. I hope it was enjoyable. I know there was a lot of stuff going on. It was pretty intense. And I'll see you next week with better Noah Gecko part 3, I guess, on service workers. So, on that note, goodbye, take care, and have a great week. Whoops. No, I meant
The joy of coding.
see ya.